Welcome to another episode of The Minimum Lovable Product. So what are we going to talk about today is value proposition. So in another episode, we talk about price, which is a function of which is the value that you bring to your customer. So the higher value you bring, the higher the price you can put. The lower value you bring, the lower the price you can put. If you bring zero value, even if it's free, no one is going to watch it, look it, or use it. So what is value proposition? Value proposition, as described by this website here, it's a good definition I found online. Product value proposition is a statement that articulates the product features, uses, and differentiator while taking into account customers' problem, what that wants and needs. Is the North Star for product messaging. So you see here there are two sides of this medal. There is the customer problem and the solution. So here they give like tons of examples, blah, blah, blah. I've explained what are possible solutions of this. Actually, one of the really known one is actually what you can see in this picture here from Dan Olsen. Is also described as product market fit. We're gonna talk about product market fit in an episode per se because it's really important actually per product, which is actually the connection between these two elements. But ultimately, what is this about? Is about this. So product, the solution space, so UX and feature, what your product does. So actually most of the time what you're looking into, but even more important, the value proposition is this triangle here, which connects to the consumer. So what is ultimately that you're offering to the consumer? The consumer doesn't care how many features you have, how fast your product it is. What's important for them is ultimately which problem you're going to solve. So that's why, as Dave McClure of 500 Startups said from this website here, customers don't care about solution; they care about their problem. Yeah, unfortunately, no one cares about your product as much as you do. Customer care about what your product can do for them, and of course, compared to how big is the problem that you're going to solve them, the bigger is the money that they're going to give you. So that's why actually it's really important for you. There are tons of definition around and tons of example of what are good actually product proposition. So let's see from this website here, 7 of the best value proposition example we have ever seen. Uber, number 1, the smartest way to get around. Pretty simple. It gives you like a real direct impact of what's the need that they're actually answering for you. Apple iPhone, the experience is the product. You're actually getting a cool product. That's what is it about. And that's why they're able to charge bigger money. It's not about the features of the phone itself. Like if you take Apple, you take Samsung, same camera, same thing, Huawei, similar stuff, but it's ultimately the experience that you get. So this is the value proposition they bring it to you. This website here, Unbounce, A/B test without tech headaches. So what's the issue that they have in here? Like they provide you like the ability to do A/B test without the complexity of the tech part. So this is the problem they're solving to you. You see, they're not talking about server side, client side, or the technology underneath. It's really what is it that they're solving. This is the value proposition. Slack, be more productive at work with less effort. So easier way to connect with people. They're not talking about their API, how many milliseconds, how many channels they can manage. Is actually how they can make your life easier. Digiteers, probably like save money without thinking about it. It's probably like a finance solution. These were like as accounting solution, less accounting, which is actually the name is already pretty straightforward. It's like bookkeeping without the hassle. So it's really how they make it easy for you to manage. Crazy Egg, another tool to track website, is actually website behavior tracking at unbeatable price. So they say actually here you see that price is directly to their value proposition, which might be risky at time, is actually we are so low and we solve this problem in a really good way, in a really cheap way. So you see that the value proposition here in this case is not about like it's the opposite of Apple, as there is like, whoa, you get a really awesome experience. In this case, we say we give you something at a price that no one is going to be able to beat. So you see how price is actually then function within the value proposition. So HubSpot, which is a big website also, as you probably know, on inbound. So how to write great value proposition. And of course, the best thing that you have to do with the biggest thing, actually, more than the best thing that you have to do with your value proposition is being able to communicate it to your customer. And the best thing that you can do to be able to communicate your value proposition to your customer is actually being clear about it. You see that this example that we saw here, they were just one sentence long, super short, super direct, and really easy to understand. Were not complex metrics or things to really understand and grasp. It's really like, here's what you give to you, that's it. And of course, the price is like, hey, does that value correspond to the price I'm willing to give? Yes or no? That's gonna actually impact if you're able to buy or not the product. So let's see a couple of examples here. Value proposition versus mission statement. So it's two different things. Value proposition, HubSpot, they're ultimately like a CRM, so a customer relationship management platform. Their value proposition is an easy-to-use CRM. Mission statement, to help business grow better. So this is what they help you to do. Their value proposition, we give you a tool which is easy. So that's their proposition. There could be like the most expensive, the cheap, the super complex, the crazy features one. Their positioning, we're going to give you an easy one to use. So value proposition versus tagline, another interesting one. So here again, Apple, pretty strong in these kind of things, as you probably can imagine. Their tagline thing different, everyone knows. Value proposition, the best experience only on Apple. So you see again here, the value proposition is about the experience that they give to you. The opposite of like what Crazy Egg, for example, was doing in this case, where they actually focus on price. As you know, Apple is not usually the cheapest product out there. It's actually the one that is want to be cool. And then you have many other options. So ultimately, what do you need to do to build a value proposition? You need to have a clear customer profile in mind. Of course, if you want to be clear about what you are conveying, you need to be clear to who you are conveying this message, and could be pretty different from different people. There are like here, like they break down like really like steps and a lot of examples. For example, in HubSpot, they say how they're doing it, how you can put this and how you convey this through text, through images, which of course are super powerful. And then they break down everything else for you. So this could actually be a really important, actually a really interesting thing to look at. But look at really these highlights, what I highlighted out of this. Clear language. You need to be clear about it. You don't have your customer to think. If customers start to think about what's your value proposition, probably your value proposition is either not good or not clear enough. Specific outcomes. So people really need to relate to it. You give me this, what am I going to get out of it? Why do I need to give you $1 to $5 to $200? Because this is the exchange that we're going to do. That's what the value proposition about. And doing it through digital, you of course need to be really specific and clear, otherwise people are not going to get it. Points of differentiation. So this is really an important one. You're probably not the only one in the market offering what you're offering. Why people need to give money to you? So what's your value proposition? Or in other words, your unique selling point is really what is the thing that makes you unique, that says, hey, customer, give the money to me rather than my competitor. So many other people, many other competitors are probably trying to connect this pyramid here. Why they need to give to you? What is your unique value proposition that connect to their needs in that special way? This is really what you need to look about. I was searching online a little bit to understand like what are the options out there, and there are like tons of material. Here I just really get an extract to really give you like what's the essence of it. Look at this. So management consulting toolkit, 650 PowerPoint slide, 50 Excel. This toolkit is created, $1,000. So $1,000 to actually get this massive deck and so on. A better value proposition for this could be impress your manager with like the smartest deck you ever created. Impress your customer and blow them away with all the best management consulting toolkit you ever need. This is the value proposition. Here they're more actually describing the features like, hey, I give you 2,000 hours of work, which of course has value behind it, but which is the problem that is really solving to me, is not saving me time. In this case, I kind of get it after a while, after reading it. But ultimately what you could say is actually, hey, we want you to impress, sell more, get structured better. This is ultimately what they're trying to sell here. You see that the value proposition is probably not the one that's super straightforward. And if we go again to consultancy, you see, for example, here, this is McKinsey. How do you deliver value to customer? Like a lot of explanation in detail with Kraft. They talk about price value model. So price elasticity, we talk about it in another episode. And you can actually then, how do you communicate the economic value to your customer? A lot of graph and so on and so on and so on. Ultimately, when they get to the checklist, so we get real. So to test a potential value proposition, go through these checks. What you need to do is, how do I convey this to my customer? So recapping, value proposition is the solution. So how you're doing, what your service, product, and feature. Solve the problem that the customer has. So how you connect these two elements. And when you get this is ultimately the value proposition, which is the problem we are going to solve for your customer and how you're going to price it. So I hope you love this, and I will see you in the next episode.